Welcome to the Carr and Seguin Show, hosted by Devin Carr and Paul Seguin, where two Michiganders dive into real estate, outdoors, community building, and everything in between. What up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Another day, another dollar in the studio.
Sir.
We got an awesome guest with us today, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a very important guest, especially given our recent storms.
It's been a very important thing that has affected a lot of people when you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
It's called electricity. Something...
most things run on.
It seems like almost everything nowadays has some kind of electrical circuit going through it, right?
Right. Even your body, right?
That's right.
Electric current through your body.
Yeah. No, but we have David Gilbert from Energizing Electrical Services. How you doing, sir?
Good. How about you guys?
Glad to have you on the show today,
absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
man. Yeah. It's electricity. It's
very important.
You know, it's funny. Here, I'm going to open up with this. So I was at an inspection yesterday, and he actually is a pipe fitter for Ford. And it's funny because his wife was explaining this scenario when one of the inspectors asked him a question about, you know, how you got into the trade or something. And he's like, I went through, trade school, and it came down to the end where it was like, either I'm going to be an electrician or a pipe fitter.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, it was kind of easy for me. I said, so if I mess up on pipe fitting, I'm going to get wet. If I mess up on electrical, yep, I'm going to be a pipe fitter.
Well, I kind of had that same thing. Right as soon as I started my apprenticeship, I could have went plumber or electrician. And as I was watching the guy work on the toilet, I realized it was electrician.
There you go.
You're right.
See? You got to pick what poison you want to
Right,
handle.
yeah.
That's right.
And I know, not to say like that's the reason why you should choose it, but doesn't electricians make a little bit more? Little
We're pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know he did say that, though, that was his only thing why he was leaning towards, because I think it was like $1 or $2 more an hour to start.
Okay.
Coming out of it from a pipe fitter to electrician.
Yeah, probably.
But he's like, he was like, I'm just very honest. I'm a little clumsy in certain areas, and I just didn't want to take that risk.
That's right.
Sounds like you made the good choice.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm sure he's doing just fine at Ford.
Right.
But yeah, so I guess to tie right into that, when did you start Energizing Electrical Services? What's the backstory?
Well, we've been in business for about 10 years now, and it was really just a side business, just something there for when I want to do side work for friends, family.
Yeah.
And, as the time goes, my son turned 16. He wanted to start apprenticing, start learning how to do the trade. So it got busier and busier and busier until we finally took it full time. And that was only a few weeks ago, really. We went full time. But it's actually been like working 2 full-time jobs for the last 2 years. So,
right.
Shoot, that's exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Because I know for the longest time you worked at Plymouth Can Schools, right?
Correct.
As their electrician, yeah.
Yep. 8 years with them, and then some years with Livonia Public Schools as a master electrician for them.
Yeah, LPS. It's where I'm a product of that. See?
Oh, God.
Look at me. Zoom in on the camera. This is the product of Livonia Public Schools. You get a thumbs up. All right, carry on.
But really, yeah, that was how the business was set up and ran. And now we've got my son who still works for us as an apprentice. We have another full-time apprentice and some guys that help out, some licensed master electricians that help out when I'm buried in work, which is about every day of the week.
Right.
Which is a good thing.
Right.
That's right.
Hence why you went full time, right?
That's right.
Good.
Yep.
Well, shoot, that's awesome. So now, if you started just, how old your son be now?
So he's actually 20 now.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's still with you the whole time, and
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep. So he couldn't really start apprenticeship until he turned 18. So really 2 years he
yeah.
was just really pretty much just a laborer for me.
Yep.
Got into the apprenticeship program, and he's doing well.
Well, that's what kids are for, right?
That's right.
Heck yeah. Put them to work. So maybe for those who don't know, maybe some younger crowds listening, right? Like, because trades right now is, I don't know if you want to say like the most underrated, but like the potential and the opportunity is tremendous, right?
Yep.
Not only even just out of the gate from high school, right? Apprenticeship, right? I mean, that's that's kind of what I was leading into. Is like, what is the timing? How soon could someone get an apprenticeship, and what does that like look like for somebody?
So really, you know,
because obviously, probably, I'm sure soon you're going to start needing to hire a lot more people as you start to grow. Because I know we've talked to a few, and you're just like, you're swimming.
And there's really hard to hire right now. No one's looking.
Oh, that's a bigger problem too. Freaking America, this world.
Yep.
Get to work, people.
It's bad, but
yeah.
You know, really. So to answer your question, to really get into the apprenticeship, you know, out of high school, you need to find a good electrical contractor.
Yeah.
To work for one that cares about you and one that cares about your education.
Yeah.
Let them get you enrolled into school, whether it's online or in the classroom. My son is online schooled.
Okay.
So it's 100%. He can take apprenticeship, his classes 2:00 in the morning if that's what he chooses to do.
Right.
And for really that age group, that's what they want to do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. They don't want to wake up early in the morning.
Yeah. I still don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's Paul. He's up at 11, 12 all the time.
Shoot, all the time.
I've always been an early bird, 6, 7 o'clock starts. And
yep.
Now I've got apprentices that are younger working for me. Now it's 10, 11 o'clock starts. Right? And they're still yawning, trying to take naps in the truck.
Yeah. Chugging monsters.
That's right.
Love it.
Yep. It's hard working with a younger kid like that. There's a lot there.
A lot of training.
A lot of training.
Oh, right. A lot of mistakes.
Right. Especially like when you're working for family and your son. I think he's quit and got fired more times than I can count, right?
So my uncle always had this saying, well, I got to fire you to hire you. Just simply like, all right, great. One job, you're fired.
Yeah.
I'll hire you when I need you again.
That's right. Yeah.
But what's the timing like?
So timing, really, you need 4 years. 2,000 hours a year gives you 8,000 hours, and then each year is a little bit different for the schools, for the total. So you need schooling hours and on the job hours combined.
On the field, right?
4 years, 8,000 hours plus your schooling. Then you can take a state test to become a licensed journeyman electrician.
Okay. So that's what an apprenticeship looks like.
That's what an apprenticeship looks like in a nutshell. A lot of sweeping, cleaning, dragging, carrying, climbing, crawling.
Earning your way.
Yeah.
Earning your way.
Doing what everyone before you did.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
It's like
go ahead.
It's like back in the day where, people started at, say, the assembly line, and then they slowly worked their way up. They went through the whole process. They didn't just jump right into it.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right. And it's different. It's different with all even trades. Plumbers takes a little bit different time. HVAC guys, all their apprenticeships are a little bit different. So it's finding out what apprenticeship that you would like to get into, and then really reaching out to these contractors in the area. There's a lot of them out there that are looking for good help. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't know nothing.
Train you.
Right. And that was always my theory especially when I used to be a fly fishing guide, and I did that for 10 years. And so going from that into, say, corporate or something like that, and people are like, "Oh, you need all this experience." It's like, well, wouldn't you want to train me from the get-go so I do it right?
Don't have
your
bad
way
habits.
Yeah, right.
Honestly,
I'm dealing with that right now with
one apprentice.
With one apprentice that worked for another contractor. They did things
a horrible way.
Okay, you said it. I didn't.
Yeah.
Now you got to you got to watch everything he's doing because he thinks he's doing it right.
Yeah.
So you got to.
It's kind of cutting corner ways.
Yeah.
And
yep.
Getting in and out real fast and move on to the next job when you're always going to be in a better position when you do quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do for a living. If you do quality, I think you're going to grow a business way better. You're going to have better clientele because you're doing a job right and not just trying to mass produce and move on to the next one. Right. And then you're teaching guys like that are just like, hey, that's going to take you way too long. Just do this, cover it up, go, bye. It'll be fine.
Right.
And then you come along and you open it up and you're like, what is this?
Who did this?
Yeah. Right? So what school is your son going to?
It's a Penn Foster school.
Penn Foster?
And they offer tons of different classes, tons of different apprenticeships. But the key is you got to be sponsored by that contractor. He couldn't just enroll into this school and say, hey, I want to become an apprentice electrician. You got to have that contractor there that's willing
to sign for
to
you.
sign for you.
Yeah.
So, and then they file all the paperwork with the state of Michigan, because truly to be an apprentice electrician, you should be registered with the state. That's the only time your hours are counting.
Right.
So if you're just out there working for a contractor that's just wanting
Help.
labor and help,
Right.
and don't want to help assist you get into school, 4 years down the road, when you go to the state to take the test and they say, well, prove your hours.
You can't.
Can't.
Oh my God.
Oh, that would be devastating.
4 more, or what is it, 8,000?
Yeah, 8,000 more hours to go, my friend.
Smokes. I mean, 2,000 hours a year sounds like a lot, but
Well,
what's 40 hours a week times 52 is what? That's 2,000.
2,050 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just a full-time.
Yeah.
You know you're going to work more than that.
But you can only count 2,000.
Oh, well,
so if you've got a really busy year and then a not so busy year, and you only get 1,500 hours because you get laid off or something happens, you get 1,500 hours.
You got to make it up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Is it, so I mean, I don't know. The hours might be the one thing that delays people a little bit, maybe sometimes. I mean,
definitely. It can. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. You get hung up a little bit. Like my son, he'll have longer than a 4-year apprenticeship because we've done a lot of part-time work.
Right. Up until now.
Up until now, exactly that.
Yeah.
So, but knowing that going in, you're good with it, right?
Right.
You know,
Right,
you're working 1,000 hours
And
a
you're
year.
still doing your school
You're
stuff.
still doing your school stuff, and you have other things going on. It's great.
Right.
Right.
So,
I love it. So yeah, anyone listening, skills trades, get into it.
Right.
I mean, it's freaking fabulous money. I mean, I was just reading something the other day, like the stats of like how much you can make just starting. Like, I would kill to make that kind of money right out of high school. You kidding me? Like, screw golf. I would have just got to work.
it's really unbelievable, and it's come a long way throughout the years of what's offered to you out
people.
there.
Well, because I think it's just there's such a shortage, right? I mean, I think I've shared this with you, but like my cousin runs an HVAC company. I mean, they had an ad running for, I think they finally now just got some people, but like all through spring into summer for, I mean, he's like, we've never offered this starting rate for wages, benefits, time off. Like, we'll train you to you can walk into this. This is what we're going to pay, which is amazing already to start. But then we can literally guarantee you in the next year, we'll get you to doing this and making this money. Like
Right.
to train you the way. And they got 0 applicants
Yeah, I
in like
remember
over a
talking
2-month
about
span.
that.
Not
Jeez.
even one app. It's like, are you kidding me?
Well, you know,
And I remember working for them, and I was like, I never get paid close to that. I was their bitch boy, if you want to call it like it is.
you know, my wife runs our office, and she put a Facebook ad out there for hiring licensed electricians.
Yeah.
A week later, she goes by. She's all excited. She comes to me and says, "Hey, look, we've got 7 applicants." I had already looked at them. I said, "Yeah, did you realize anything unusual about them?" She goes, "No, why?" I says, "There's not one of them that is from this country."
Oh,
We had no applicants.
they were just fake
Oh.
apps or something?
No, they were from different countries all over the globe,
Looking to come here?
looking to come here.
Holy smokes.
Get a work visa.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, hey, you going to pay for me to move? No.
But, not one. And it's so busy out there right now, it's really hard to hire.
Oh, yeah. It's don't even get me started when you're seeing businesses even still now having to close their doors because they have lack of work. We just ordered from a Mexican place right over by our house, and Jess went to go pick it up, and she's like, they're just swamped. So she started making chit-chat with the older lady that was working everything. She was doing the front counter. She was waiting tables. She was bussing tables. She would go run and get the food, and then she had a second, and they're like, so how you guys doing? She's like, there's only 3 of us. And it's been this way for the last 6 months. Just me and my husband and 1 helper. And literally like, do you want a job? I'll pay you whatever it takes just to get you to be here. And it's just frustrating. It's like,
Well,
it
would
shouldn't be that way.
Right. It
You
should.
know? And then you've seen all these restaurants close. And we were just talking about that at the closing. Eastside Mario's in Livonia, where I grew up right over there. Best place. It was like iconic for us growing up. They had the wing night. Like everybody in town went there for wing night. Just closed down out of nowhere. It's like that place was always busy.
Right.
And you probably only have to believe it's because they had no workers.
Right.
Just like Milford House.
Right,
We
yeah.
had what's her face? Like
Yeah.
they closed because they didn't have any help.
Yeah. after 25 years.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyways,
we digress.
don't get me. I'm already going. It's just ridiculous. I cannot stand lazy people. And then knowing that my money is just paying them to be lazy, like, screw that. Give me my taxes back. That's not what I'm paying for. Yeah, give me my taxes back.
Johnny likes that.
Well, and I saw that, not to get all sidetracked, I saw someone post on Facebook like that, taxation is theft. And then I saw some idiot like, oh, do you appreciate your public roads? Like, dude, you're just clearly naive to the taxation that they're just rolling out. That to start, do you see the rule that they're trying to tax for a per mile on your car?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. This is a joke. Anyways, back to electrical stuff.
Right.
I get going, man, because this stuff is ridiculous. I'm about to run.
Well, it's like the
office.
Storms that we've been having this year. So
It is.
A lot of lost power.
Good transition there.
Yep.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No,
take the
after you.
transition. Please.
I did my part.
Shut
I
up.
teed it up for you.
I have to shut up sometimes. Go ahead.
No, but I know we lost power a bunch, and we have a neighbor that has a automatic generator, Generac one, and you could hear that thing kick on right as you saw your lights dim down. I was like, oh, I wish I was over there.
Well, you got to ask to throw them a cord.
Right, yeah.
Can you give me some power?
So now we've also, the storms this year just seem, I don't know, it just seemed crazy this year with the amount of rain, the wind. I don't know. We always lose power where we live, but it seems like we lost it more often than not, and it was for longer periods of time. So, I feel like more and more people are looking into the generator, the home generator type thing. Is that something you see more?
Yeah,
of
our calls have went through the roof for generators. And, everybody says it's storms, but to be real about it, we got to ask ourselves, is it the aging infrastructure?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this stuff out here. It hasn't been serviced in decades.
Right. And so what kind of, do you guys have a favorite generator that you guys install, or?
So, yeah, my favorite by far, and that's why I became a dealer for them, was Generac.
Okay.
I think that the service that you get from that Generac generator, part availability, surpasses everybody else.
Okay.
We've put a ton of them in, and when you can start something, every single, as a contractor installing them, it's nice to know when I hit that on button, it's going to turn on with no issues, right? It's the last thing you want in front of a customer is the thing just
doesn't turn on.
And there's no way to fake it.
Right.
They're standing right there. You can't make motor sounds with your mouth.
How come that light's blinking red? Yeah, it's Christmas time, man.
It's warming up.
Sir, I'm going to have to have you step into the house for a second.
Yep.
So if someone were to get or consider an in-home generator, you hear of people saying that it needs to be serviced all the time. Is there a time frame that you recommend that?
Well, you need to look at runtime. How much is it ran, right? Today we have smart generators. Generacs, they call it the Guardian. It's got Wi-Fi on it. It's talking to your phone on the app. It's monitoring how much runtime, what the oil life is like, what the battery is, and if it's got an issue, app goes off, right?
Okay.
Right.
Real simple.
I don't got that for mine.
We can always add it.
Yeah.
All right. Add it to my list.
Right.
Right. And so, generally speaking, you need to check the oil. It's a car engine, right? So it's got oil in it. It's got a battery in it. That battery's good for 3 to 5 years, just like a car engine.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And before they even had the Wi-Fi, to go out there once every 6 months, 3 months, check your oil, look at the battery, make sure it's not all corroded up or leaking or, doing anything crazy. I got no oil puddles in the tray.
Right.
We're all just, signs to look for there. on the Guardian generator, you actually have LED lights now. You got a green one, a red one, and a yellow one. And sometimes there's two of them on together. The red one's just not going to let it start.
Right.
The yellow one comes on with the green one, says, hey, I need service. So
makes it pretty easy.
It does make it easy, especially if you can see them from, like, when you're driving up. We try to position those LED lights where, you're not having to look for them. You can see them from the road. You can see them from wherever.
Okay.
You look out your back door. Can you see it?
Right.
And it's always a nice peace of mind when you can look out there and say,
it's green.
We're doing good.
So I have that little thing in the garage that there's like a little sensor right by the garage door.
Okay.
And so it just, as long as it's a solid red, it's good. Right. And if it starts blinking,
then you're in
it
trouble.
tells you how many blinks. Like if it's blinking once, it's this. And it's got a whole little list of like 5 or so possibilities or something of what's wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, there's maintenance to them though, for sure. Cause I don't know. I think I have a gen rack. I think I do, but it turns on once a week just to run for like 15 minutes or something like that. I know mine's every Thursday at like 10:30. All of a sudden, there it goes, fires up, and then just runs. Because there's an hour, just like a car, right? Like you said, the maintenance. I know you got to get the oil change maybe sooner, but the guy who at least did it before said once a year. If you don't use it, right? If you don't use it for like an actual outage, just the running time alone accumulates to what? A few hours of run per year. So then you still got to change it. Get it changed once a year. So
my brother bought a house in Clarkston, and they have a Generac one. And I don't know who programmed it, but he said it runs when it does its little service run. It's at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's right next to their bedroom window.
oh shoot, change that time. Right? You could
This is
change the
horrible.
time.
yes. Yeah.
I think now he's changed it, but it went on for a little while. And he's like, I don't know who did this, but this is terrible.
They clearly didn't like them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to set this for 4 in the morning.
That's right.
Little wakey call.
Oh.
No, but they're key. Like, it's that peace of mind. We pay for many pieces of mind in our life in many different ways. And a generator to me is just like, I mean, now having one, like even when those lights flicker, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Fire it up.
You never even know that you lost power.
No, it's because we have a whole house, and it's not like we have a big house either, but it's a whole house generator, and it's all natural gas. Like it's all hooked up, ready to go.
Right.
Right.
As soon as it goes off, there it goes.
Whether you're on vacation or not.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to start.
Which
your
is
refrigerators going, your
sub
furnace going,
pumps.
sump pumps.
Oh man, that's the key.
Because there's never any water with a storm.
No.
So you don't really need that sub pump.
This year has just been crazy with water.
Nuts.
Yeah. So Generac, you're a local dealer now.
Correct.
Nice.
Yep.
So you're the man to call for Generac.
Well, if you can get them, right? Right now, they're like everything else. There's a huge shortage on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprise.
Yep.
And estimated delivery dates on them are 20 to 30 weeks away.
Jeez.
Oh.
So they're really tricky to get.
So Mother Nature, hold off on storms
Yeah.
for 20 to 30 weeks, or DT, just get to work on fixing your power lines.
I thought cabinets were bad. That's a long time.
It really is.
Whoa.
And then some of the components that go along with them, they're not that available. So even if the generator becomes available, can you
Right.
get the rest of the components?
To hook it up.
To hook it up, it's got to have a transfer switch. You got to have a pad that
Right.
it sits on.
Jeez.
Yep. It's like putting puzzle pieces together when you got to do a generator.
Yeah.
You're buying this from here, buying that from there, and
Oh my gosh.
That's
So you're going to multiple suppliers
Right, yeah.
just to piece one together.
correct. Yep. Really hard just to get the whole shebang.
All right.
Now, if there wasn't such a long wait time, is it that hard? Do you have to go to different places, or are you just doing
No.
that just to make it quicker?
Yeah, doing that just to make it quicker,
Okay.
because a lot of the customers, they're finding that they're more of a need. They've got medical needs at the
Right.
home. They've got, this going on, that going on. A lot of people are, home offices are there now.
Yeah,
Right.
good
And,
point.
and their
yeah.
bosses aren't saying, hey, I don't care if you got power. Do
Right,
your job.
yeah.
Oh,
Sell
yeah.
that house.
Right.
Respond to my email.
That's right.
Now.
So they're becoming more of a need for people.
Mm-hmm.
And they want that need met.
Right.
Well, everything is now.
Yeah.
Right?
That is true.
Give me my power now.
Yep.
I mean, it does suck though. I mean, I haven't fortunately lost power too many times in my life, but I remember that huge brownout. Right, we had way back in the day.
Oh, in early 2000s.
Yeah, when we were out for what?
Was it 2000? It was 2000s.
Oh yeah, had to been.
Yeah.
That where it was like all
Yeah, it was
big
like
parts of the country.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that was what, like 7 days, or even longer. I think than that. I mean, you just don't realize how much you depend on electricity until it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, especially now with all of our devices.
Yeah.
You know, you can't charge your phones. I mean, nothing. Everything it's our lifeline. I mean, there's no land. I don't have a landline in my house. So if I can't charge my phone, dead. Dead in the water.
Got to run the truck. Got to run the car.
Right.
Yeah, I got to plug in there too. All right.
I know.
But
my old trucks used to, you could plug everything in and not run. Now my new one doesn't. You have to have the car running. It's like, oh, this sucks.
oh, I know. Yeah. It's probably because of all the computer boards that the cars have nowadays.
That and everybody be plugging everything into them, kill them batteries in a hurry.
Right.
Right.
You have a whole nother bag of issues on your hands.
Yep.
So what are some pros and cons to a portable one? To the Generac, obviously, which is a hookup, right?
Right. Well, I mean, Generac makes portables too.
Do they?
There's many different manufacturers in the portables and the standbys.
Yeah.
So, but to put them two side by side, really, you got a home standby. It's going to turn on when you're not home.
Right.
It's going to have a lot more features. It's going to be able to power more things. But portables have come a long way too, right? So, still with a portable, you can fire up and get most, if not all, your house going with a single point hookup off a portable generator.
Right.
Done correctly. People.
That's the key.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Right
Done correctly.
You've seen a ton of people. They've got 100 extension cords coming into their house and plug strips everywhere. Right.
I do that one.
So really, if you've got a decent sized generator, medium to small size home, should be able to do the whole house, air conditioning and everything with a portable generator.
Really?
Yeah, without a question. Yep, without an
So
issue.
what are you looking for though on the portable? Like, is there size or
So I'm looking at something that's at least a 6,500 watt
or more
generator to have a single point hookup on a house. Okay.
What's the typical sizes for portables?
5,000 to 6,500 is probably the most typical ones out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that make 8,000s and 10, 13, but you get into such a high portable, it's not going to deliver that amount of power to your house anyways, right? You don't need that capacity no longer. Because at the end of the day, it's hooked up to a 30 amp 2-pole breaker. So you don't need that large generator. All it's going to do is just consume more fuel for you. So just size the generator to the circuit that you're going to supply to the house. Saves you gas, saves you money. I would buy the smallest generator I could possibly buy
To run everything.
to run everything.
Right.
Right. And they run on multiple fuels. You can get them diesel, propane, gas, even some natural gas ones. It all depends on what you want to pay for the generator.
Right.
A lot of everything. They all have features on them. You get them now, they're key starts. They got battery maintainers, charge the batteries on them. So when you go out there and just turn the key and they start right up. There's only one negative about them that's, that people struggle with, and it's you got to drag it. You got to store it and drag it, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's got wheels on it,
It's still
6
heavy.
inches of snow, you're dragging it.
Yeah.
Still a heavy little beast to push around.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's more cost effective just to have a portable, especially for someone that maybe can't get into that standby price, right? Because that's a pretty good sizable expense for a home. So if you can't do that, but you still need some generator power, portable's a good way to go.
Now, on the what would a standby? It all depends on a lot of different things, but ballpark, if someone was considering getting a standby one, what would it cost? What would they be looking at?
Great question. Right now, they're starting for a pretty basic install at about $9,500.
Okay.
And you could go all the way up into 15, 16,000, depending on location, right? How the house is built, we've got one scheduled here coming up where I'm going to run 120 feet of wire just to. Now, I put it right next to the gas meter, so the gas side is going to be cheap to have done.
Right.
But now it's 120 feet of wire just to get it to the panel. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right, yeah.
You know, and that wire is $8 a foot. So you think about it, you got $1,000 just for that piece of wire.
Right.
And the labor to install.
Right.
Right.
So that's where the prices really start getting at. You know, they get up there. A typical install, we're trying to put them right next to the gas meter, and hopefully that's not that far away from the panel. And it drives that cost way down.
Yeah.
So
that's 100 foot of wire. That's a long haul.
Yep. Well, we did 80 foot yesterday.
I know ours isn't too far. It's just you got to go through the garage, and then it's right there in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about building a home, make sure you put them close to each other.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you just got to think. You got to prep for it.
Right.
All right. So how do you determine, is it kind of the same for a standby?
For size-wise?
Yeah.
You know, sizing it, I look at the main breaker of the house, and then you really look at a lot of people, they might have gas. Every appliance is gas.
Right.
So you have no appliances you need to back up. So you can look at the main breaker size of the house, look at just the appliances, and take a really close guess on it. One other thing you can do is go right onto the Generac website. How to buy a generator. You type in what you want, your square footage of your house, and it spits you out the size range that you should be looking at.
Oh, wow.
So that's nice to be able to do that too. But yeah, there's just a few numbers out there. You know, I'm putting in the average one we put in is either an 18 kW, a 22, or a 24. So when we look at that, we look at a 100 amp service, 150 amp service, and a 200 amp service, and you can't go wrong with it.
Okay.
Right. Anything bigger than that 200 amp service, you got to look at doing some isolation and how you're going to do it.
Okay.
We've done one not too long ago where it was double generators.
Jeez.
One for each 200 amp panel. That's how they wanted it done, and it works out well for them. And if one goes down, the other one's there, right?
Wow.
Jeez Louise.
Hey. Be a big house.
Want power.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways to do them, and there's ways that, you know, you can budget them down, different switches you can use, and maybe you get a smaller size and you look at shedding your loads. Hey, I really don't need this to run. I don't care if this runs. So, you know, you might put a small sub panel in, put your loads in that you really want to run.
Okay.
And call it a day. And, you know, that buys that generator size down.
Right.
So
a lot of different good things.
I like mine. It's nice. It's a nice generator.
It's your baby.
I don't know, it's just nice to know
that you always have power.
Yeah.
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 And you don't have to run to the gas station that may not have power to fill
right,
it up.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't think about that. When you have a portable generator, it's going to consume gas, and
you always got to fill it up.
You got to fill it up. You got to go get the gas, and if the gas station don't have power, where are you going to get the gas from?
All right.
Or if they do, then you go sit in a line forever because everyone else is getting gas.
Well, and it's the knowing that once you lose power, it just turns on. I mean, it's right away. Especially like if you got a sub pump like we do, I have a client, Denise, she's just always worried about the sub pump. You know, and I get it. Right? And I did, but I was like, we'll just put a generator in. She's like, oh, well, that's easy. Let me just whip out my checkbook. I'm like,
well, now you're catching on.
Yeah. Quit being cheap.
Right.
You want the peace of mind? You got to pay for it. But it is. I don't know. Obviously, the portables do the job, right?
They do.
But it's like, when you're not home, what are you going to do? You know, maybe you're up north. You're going to call hey, you got to run over, hook up my generator.
Right, yeah.
Make sure there's gas in it. I'll be back in 2 days. Okay, well, it's going to run out of gas.
Right.
So who's going to put more gas in it?
And if you're not servicing it, is the gas any good, or is it sat in there a year?
Right.
Yeah, right.
So that's really the benefit on the portables. You can get them in propane also. So
you can you?
You can get a 40 gallon or a 40 pound, 100 pound propane tank. Propane never goes bad.
Right.
So
there you go.
And it's easy to store.
And I'm sure most people turn the gas switch off and then run it out of gas before they put it away for
Does anybody do
4
that?
months.
No, I don't.
You don't have to. Yours is hooked
No,
to your house.
I was thinking of all my zero turn and stuff. I was supposed to do all that crap. I never did. I'm like, well, hopefully this was fine. Never even.
We'll try it next year.
Yeah. We'll save that one for next time. We'll see how she operates this year.
After you pay for the maintenance this year.
Right.
Yeah. It's always a cost of something.
That's right.
Now the the ones hooked up to your house, they are, was it last year or early this year? There was a big brownout. I mean, those prevent that from happening instead of having one that you wheel to your house, essentially, right?
Do they prevent the brownout?
Yeah. Well, no, like they don't allow, like when we had the brownout, I know a few people that they lost their fridges and everything because it fried the circuits.
Yeah, so what that'll do is that'll monitor your incoming power from the utility. And if it sees like a leg drop out or a low voltage on a leg, it's going to say, hey, I don't have the proper voltage. I need to turn on. It's going to transfer over to the generator. And it's going to watch that voltage. And when that voltage comes back, it'll then turn itself back on the utility. And that's why you see that lag time in there when they shut off.
Okay.
Is they monitor, like let's say utility brings their power back on, that generator, everybody asks, why is it still running? Why are we still on generator? Well, it's making sure that power is
there.
And it's there to stay.
Yeah.
They don't want to go on, off, on, off,
Right,
on, off.
yeah.
So it might run an extra 5 or 10 minutes on generator to say, hey, power is now stable. Let me
It's actually
flip
funny.
over.
It's funny you say that because I did that one time.
Yeah.
We had some flickering, and you can tell that it switched over, but it was still running. I'm like, why is it still running? And then finally, I think it was like 5. It was a couple minutes. It seemed like it kept going, and then finally shut off.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, all right.
And some of them have a cool down feature on them, meaning that that's going to run that generator with no load on it. So that engine has time to cool back down and kind of, get to a nice spot.
Instead of turning off hard.
Right off.
Right. Get a generator, people.
Right.
And we got a guy.
That's right.
Y'all got a guy, but I got a guy. I got a real good guy. And he's David Gilbert, Energizing Electrical Services. Call him.
Winter's coming.
That's right.
Don't want to lose that heat.
But obviously in 2 days is October. Do you believe that? It's October already?
I know.
Jeez Louise. But October is a month of fire safety, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. National Fire Protection Agency's October Safety Month for fire alarms. Smoke detectors.
Check your smoke detectors.
Check your batteries.
Check your batteries.
Test them.
Test them. Yeah.
Yep. Every time change, you should be changing your batteries.
If they're not hardwired. Do you hardwire them anymore?
That's the number one way to do them is have them hardwired.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And you want battery backup on them. So even though you're hardwired, you probably have a battery.
Right.
You'll wait for yours to beep.
Yeah.
Hey, I got the.
What is that noise?
I got the Kindle 10-year, whatever they're called, the 10-year ones,
Yeah.
right? And I wrote the date on there.
That's right.
So until that goes to 2030,
You're all good.
yeah, we'll see.
You're right.
We'll test if they're 10-year battery, whatever the systems they got in there.
That's the one thing that makes me cringe is when you go into a house that was built in the 80s, 90s, even 2000, and you look at that smoke detector, and that's the original smoke detector.
Jeez.
And they're good for 8 to 10 years is
Yeah.
what the recommended replacement lifespan
Right.
is.
Yeah, people realize how important they are since when you're sleeping, you don't smell anything. So you can't smell the smoke. That's what the whole point of them is.
Can't see the smoke neither.
Yeah, that is true.
It's important.
Unless it's a hell of a dream.
And if you think about how important, look at how the codes have changed throughout the years. Let's say my parents' house was built in 75.
Mm-hmm.
They had one smoke detector, top of the staircase. That's it.
Right.
Now you look at nowadays, you're required one in each bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
One in the hallways,
Yeah.
one on every level.
Yep.
Oh, I went crazy. I think I was going away for a weekend or something, and I think Jess was gone one night, and it kind of just dawned on me. I'm like, because we close all the bedroom doors, right? But we also have younger kids, and we still have the white noise makers. They go 24. I mean, we run those suckers all the time, right? So I was just running through my head as I was laying in bed one night. I'm like, I mean, those things could be an easy little spark. We use it. They're old at this point because we've used the same ones.
Right.
So it's just running like, the worst case scenario through your head. And you're like, there's nothing in those bedrooms. Like a fire could start in that room. And I have no way until it finally gets, the only one we had was down the hallway way into the kitchen. So until that smoke goes all the way over there ain't no alarm in me. And I'm a deep sleeper.
Right.
Right? That's what it was. Jess was going at it. And I sleep, like Jess hears a pin drop, she's up. Like a tornado siren can go off and I'm still sleeping.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm like, no, this is the last. I'm like, I wanted to do it at night, but they were already in bed. I'm not going to wake them up. So that next morning, I mean, I put every bedroom has got a smoke alarm. I did the hallway. I added, I went insane. Jess comes home and is like, yeah, you weren't lying. They're everywhere now. Like, hey, we're being safe.
Costco must have had a sale.
No, Home Depot made some money on me that day.
Well, this is a perfect month to buy them. They're on sale right now.
Are they?
Yep. So these battery ones that you can stick up, I mean, they're as cheap as $5 a unit.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that?
What is that?
Right.
For just a little peace of mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you can go all the way up to buying the Wi-Fi ones, which, the benefit of really having the wired ones are they're interconnected. If one goes off, they're all going off.
Right.
Well, battery
Oh,
ones
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Battery ones don't necessarily do that. You get one that goes off, the next one, unless it sees smoke, it's not going off.
Right.
They've got Wi-Fi ones that talk amongst themselves. So if the one goes off in the basement,
It's alarming the first floor.
Okay.
Wow.
you pay more money for those, and I don't know what the price is off the top of my head, but it's a great way to add them to make it feel safe.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, you just said about October's here on Friday. I mean, next will be Christmas, and then everyone's got Christmas trees, and I mean, we all
Big
know.
What's wrong
time.
with dry pine
Yeah. I
and
mean,
lights?
That doesn't do anything. Just smells good, right?
yeah, right. There's no way this could end badly.
Those suckers go up in flames in seconds.
Oh, yeah.
There ain't no stopping that. And that's, I mean, when you ever put a pine branch into a fire, it just, it just like engulfs.
Well, we've
flame.
all seen Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't take much. That's such a great movie.
That's
I
the
love
gift
that
that
movie.
keeps on giving.
Every year.
Right?
Every year. The Jolly Bean Club. Oh, man. You're going to make me watch that now.
That's a great movie.
It's a
It's
classic.
one of the greatest.
That is a great one. No, but that's smoke detectors. I want buck wild on them. Because, again, it's just that peace of mind. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I'll spend $100, $10,000 to have a peace of mind knowing that when stuff hits the fan,
You're ready.
you're ready.
Unless you'll know
Yeah,
before it's too late.
right. That's the whole thing. You don't want to be too late. I don't want to be stuck in the drive with no electricity. I don't want to have to keep filling it up with gas.
Right.
Right.
Call my man Dave, and just hook up a standby. Quit being cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're listening to this, and you went and bought a portable, you're cheap. Stop being cheap. Call him to put a gen rack in. All right? Or Paul,
or
I
at
don't
least
have
to get
10
your-
grand laying around. Well, finance the stupid thing. You want it.
Or at least get your portable done right.
This is
Right,
America.
yeah.
We print money left and right. You can get credit, I'm sure, somewhere. Okay? It's American dream. Get in debt. Don't have me on your financial show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Whew.
Dave Ramsey can suck it.
Spend.
all day, every day.
Right.
All right. So, yeah.
So what else? I mean, you guys do generators.
Yeah, we do everything. We do, all different types of recessed lighting, under cabinet lighting. Pretty much if it's in a house and it's electrical, we'll work on it.
Okay.
Or we'll install it.
Yeah.
A lot of service work.
Okay.
We do a lot of grounding. We bring a lot of these homes up to code when it comes to the grounding because just
Especially
like
the
everything
older
else.
homes.
Yeah. Hey, older homes, they got a little piece of aluminum comes out, ties to a piece of copper pipe, and it's all corroded up, right? Yeah. So,
That really works.
Yeah.
right. So with all the electronics, people don't realize how sensitive these electronics are. So you want to make sure your house is grounded properly with the, 2 ground rods on the outside. You have a solid copper wire going back to your water main, and that every point that you can actually ground to, you want to be grounded to.
Right.
Okay, a hot water tank, so on and so forth. And then with that, just to protect them circuits even better, you go with the whole home surge protectors.
Okay.
Which takes the place of all the plug strips that melt and
Right,
do
yeah.
whatever else. Right? You got 17 things plugged into.
You're moving plugs around just so you can fit them all in there.
There's another Clark Griswold example.
That's right. But people don't realize that when they buy it for the surge protection, the cord strip I'm talking about, they buy it because it's got a push button on it and it says, big fancy surge protector.
Yeah.
Well, that surge is coming all the way through your home before it hits that surge protector. So every piece of appliance, outlet, light, switch, dimmer switch, in front of that is taking that surge.
Right.
Right.
So you may have saved your one computer, your one TV, but your brand new microwave, stove, and everything else is smoldering over there.
Right,
Jeez.
yeah.
So when you do those whole home surge protectors, we install them right at the panel. That's the very first device coming off the panel.
Okay.
And takes that hit and saves everything. It's really cheap insurance is really what it is.
Yeah.
It's a one-time buy. It's going to do its job only once. Once it sees a big surge,
Right.
it will fail and you'll replace it.
Yeah.
But it saves everything
But
else.
it
Right,
saves everything else. I mean, most people, you're doing them for cheaper than the deductible on your house. You know?
Right.
Right.
The average install there is about $325.
Okay.
Okay, so it goes up. It depends on what your panel looks like and what size. Some people want really big just because they think bigger is better,
Right.
right? And they're the customer, so they're right.
Yeah.
Even though you try to talk them, down, but sometimes it don't work.
Right.
Right. It's just stuck up in the
Yeah.
noggin.
You really
That's
don't need that. Oh, I want it. Okay.
Yeah, I love the ones that go, hey, we need a 200 amp service. Well, your house was built here, and you only got a 60 amp service now. You need a 200, really? What are you adding?
Right.
Nothing. Just want the 200.
Could have done with the 100, right?
Yeah, skip by
I know
the
we
100.
were just talking about the other day, the house in Redford. It was like, no, you could just do 100 on that.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper. Like, and I'll admit it. Like, I'm that kind of person where it's like, go big or go home.
Yep.
Like, I mean, more can only be better, right?
Right.
Well, a lot of people do shop. They shop. You go online and shop.
Right.
Say, oh, the panel's $25 difference.
So just give me the big one.
Yeah.
So give me the big one. What they don't realize is we're doubling the size of the wire, which is twice as hard to work with now.
Right.
So what does that do? That's going to double the labor on
Right.
touching that piece of wire. So
Yep.
everything goes up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays the fridges too. I mean, they have touch screens. I
Oh
mean,
my
you hate for all that
Goodness.
to
Yeah.
go.
You said what?
But your computer's okay. Your $100 computer's okay. Your $5,000 refrigerator is toast.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because
it.
only like you said, $325 typically.
Yeah.
So $300-$400,
That's it.
right?
Cheap insurance.
To save everything.
To save everything. I mean, shoot, we just bought a computer for Jess. It was $1,300. That alone,
Right.
it's only one item. But you're talking, like you said, refrigerator, computers, microwaves, anything electrical.
Right.
I mean, shoot, I'm sure every house in 2021's probably got on average 2 to 3 TVs.
At least.
Yeah.
And, they're probably all the 4K, 55 inch,
Yeah.
because no one likes the little 32, 47s anymore.
Yeah.
So they're easily $500-$600 a pop.
Well, shoot, your phones alone are $1,000.
That's
I
ridiculous.
mean, they have that plugged in and then it go and oh, vacation.
We'll buy contacts. That's always the fear of like not being able to transfer your contacts.
Yeah.
You always do randomly like, hey, got a new phone. Who's this?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
that sucks. Good time to weed out the bad friends. No?
Right. Yeah. People I haven't talked to in a while.
But
Now, do you do new construction as well?
We do. We don't do too much of it, only just because of manpower. Really,
Yet.
It's
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
we don't yet.
But we've done plenty,
Okay.
so there's no issues there. It's just we're selective on them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So
Does everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
Heck yeah.
yeah.
He's my go-to guy.
we
Makes
do,
it happen.
We do a lot of troubleshooting, circuit tracing. The hard to find. This hasn't worked in a year because no one's been able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
We have meters that we can find it.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. There's some of that at the South Line house, by the way.
Perfect.
We were doing that this morning. Switches weren't working. Had Bradley up there even touch. He's like, there's power, but nothing's doing anything. And then I think there's some lights in the basement. It's like, putting all the new bulbs on. Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. But so that leads it to, there's a certificate, right, that you guys do. Certify home thing, right?
Certify home. I don't.
Isn't there something that you were going to do at the South Line house, right? You're going to come inspect?
Oh yeah, we're gonna service your generator there,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna look at your service and basically just do a safety inspection
There you go.
on the house.
Yeah.
So we'll look at what the incoming service looks like.
Okay.
And when I mean look at it, we're gonna put a screwdriver or an Allen wrench or whatever is there, ratchet, on the lugs, and we're gonna tighten it because chances are they're probably loose.
Right.
Which if they are, that could
from vibration, that it'll stuff will work loose. You got kids running up and down stairs. You got all kinds of vibration in a house.
Right.
All right.
So we'll look at the meter, the outside connections, the condition of the service wire. We'll take that into the house. We'll open up the panel, make sure everything's tight in there. Connections are all looking good. Nothing's corroded. No water's getting in. We'll go through and we'll test the GFI function in the house because that's just something that no one ever does, right? At GFI, it's got a test button and a reset for a reason. We're supposed to be using them just to cycle them. Otherwise, they just get frozen in place. Like the car that sits forever, you go to get in it, don't want to move because the brakes are frozen.
We get that all the time in inspections,
right?
Because the inspectors will test that. They'll do the test and the reset. Like, hey, and I'm going to probably say it wrong, but when they test it, like it's working, but it's not tripping or something, right?
Correct. Yeah, we just worked on that house for you not too long ago that was like that.
Yeah.
Power's
got to replace them.
Yep, power's
goes
good.
out.
GFI's not. If
Right.
you just test them, just whenever you think about it.
Right.
And that's a newer thing of recently, right? Where
GFIs have been around for a long time.
but it's become such a hot thing, right?
Yeah.
Whenever like, there's no GFCIs here. You got to get those replaced. Like, I mean, obviously the inspectors are all calling it out because is it becoming code?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, anything really within
6
feet.
right? Yeah.
VA loans, you have to have them.
Right.
I just had one that had to get replaced. There wasn't one in the kitchen.
But it just seems like, I mean, obviously being a part of like, you're aware of it, right? Like doing deals and stuff. But a lot of people are like, what is that? Like most people are like, what the heck is a GFCI outlet?
Right. Tons of the houses that we'll go into, they might be in certain areas, but not others. Like you take a kitchen, everything in a kitchen, whether it's 6 feet from the water or not, should be GFI protected. If you're building a new house today, it's all it is.
Right. Well, because you're dealing with so much water there.
Right.
Cooking, all that stuff.
Right.
But, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell you how many houses that we go into and we look, and the one outlet that they have happens to be above the slop sink in the basement, and they've got an extension cord hanging down.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. That's safe.
Guilty.
So.
I think, didn't we have something at our house like that too, I think?
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah. Yeah,
So
there was definitely something the refrigerator. No, it was a light. He had a whole light running from an extension cord, then powering one of our light bulbs in our laundry room. I remember that. He's like, yeah, then this is not going to work. And then he hooked us up fat with some nice, real shiny LED lights in that room. Now it's like, we can literally grow some weed in those rooms now.
Proper sunlight.
Heck yeah, dude. I love them.
Well, the technology's there now, and now the price is finally starting to come down to meet that technology. They're affordable, and people don't realize that.
Right.
Even the good quality, the name brand, it's affordable now. And it saves you so much money. We tell everybody all the time, we go in and we look at, some of these houses that have, 60, 80, 100 recessed lights, and they got 65-watt light bulbs in there. Because that's what there was, in an open trim, right?
Right.
And you try to just tell them, look, let's just take 10 of them. 10 times 65, 650 watts of power, plus an open trim, second floor, all your heating and cooling's going right out that hole. You don't believe me? Light a cigarette underneath it, watch the smoke go up. Right? So you take that 650 watts of power being used there.
Right.
Now replace them with LEDs. But good quality one's going to cost you $15.
A little upfront, more cost, but
right.
the long
You're not going to
term,
replace them. They will last.
right?
You put 10 of them back in. Now you're at 65 watts. There's
Big difference.
For all 10.
Yeah.
For all 10.
Yeah. And they're bright as all get.
Yeah.
Yep. And they dim down nice.
I know.
And
it's
if, if you're buying the good quality ones, there's no reason why you shouldn't expect that longevity out of them. We use a couple of different manufacturers, Halco being one. In the last 3 years we've been using Halco. I can honestly say I have not come back for a warranty replaced, not even one.
Huh.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I love our LED reset lighting. You can dim it.
Ooh.
Set the mood around the
fire.
fireplace.
Yeah,
yeah buddy. Thanks, David. Gotcha, man. No,
Well, if you buy the cheap ones, you can get some strobe light effects.
Right, yeah.
love it.
Yep.
No, they're nice. They are. I mean, even the ones in our laundry room. I mean, I can't wait to have you out when we do our basement. Hopefully this winter. Be nice to get that done. But just to get more lighting, it sucks. There's so many they're all those old, what are those long?
T12s.
Yeah, T12s, all the frosted, plastic covers. It's like, that really helped the light come through.
Yeah, most of it's bled through the ceiling, above the ceiling.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the mood setter back then.
Yeah.
Didn't want it too bright.
With the dark brown wood. Yeah. You could tell we bought a house from the late 60s, early 70s.
Right.
The
Another really good thing out there is you get into these houses and they go to, try to plug something in and the cord falls right back out. That plug is worn out. That outlet's shot, right?
Right.
You see that all the time. And then what else you see is you'll find that house where they're all worn out, but yet they've got the child-proof push-ins.
Yep.
Sometimes they've glued them in because they won't stay in and they're afraid the kids are going to stick something in there. The new outlets today have tamper-proof
All the
right in them.
proof.
They're
Yeah.
all tamper-proof.
Oh, sometimes I hate them because it's so stinking hard to put plugs in. I'm like, motherfucker, just get in there. It's like, geez, I'm thankful that it's not easy, but at the same time, I'm like, man, this just doesn't make this easy.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, yeah.
And them are just small upgrades and fixes. As
Yeah.
you go in there and even paint a bedroom or something, change them.
Just
Right.
change them. They're so easy to do.
Easy to do.
Yeah. They're not expensive.
Nope.
No.
It's not something you have to do the whole house right away. Like you said, paint a bedroom, do that. May do your kitchen a
Yeah.
few months later. I mean,
Yep.
I redid our whole entire house. I mean, I have probably 30 of them still sitting in my basement. Bought way too many. I just was like, I'm going to take 5 of these boxes. Home Depot has a shortage of outlets.
Well, that's
This
not
guy.
a lie. That's not a lie.
I know.
It's hard to buy.
It was. And that was back in September of 2020 when we bought that house. I remember going there and just the guys even that worked the electrical area, they're like, oh, it's hit or miss, man. We have no idea when we're getting more either.
Yep. Circuit breakers, panels, outlets.
Yeah.
all the above.
Yeah, because that's when we had you out, and I remember you saying it was like, dude, I could be out next week. I don't know.
Right. And you think about that, from a contractor standpoint, looking at the homeowner, a lot of people don't realize the cost of even wire. We used to buy it for $38 a roll.
Mm-hmm.
That same wire is going for $108 a roll, and that's down from what it was.
Jeez.
And this happened in months.
Yeah.
Difference.
So when you're giving somebody an estimate and they take forever to
Come back to you.
come back to you on that,
Right.
then you got to look at them and say, look,
It's not $1,400 anymore. It's now $2,000.
there you
Right.
go. So you try to do your best you can do, but it's tough out there. It's
Right.
tough as a contractor buying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just 2021 in general,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I just saw it on today on Facebook. Someone posted back to restaurants, but there was a picture of frying oil at a restaurant supplier, and the post says a year ago this was $38. 6 months ago it was $48. Now it's $92.
Ooh.
Well, hey,
And they're saying if you get it was something to do in regards to the restaurants are charging more, right, for food.
Right.
And so it's well, there's your reason.
Right.
The cost of doing business is
all gone
more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the stupid idiot that the speaker and the person that talks for Biden all the time.
Yeah.
That comment she made about how she thinks it's horrible that companies are just going to raise prices because we're raising their taxes. Like, that's how it works.
Right.
You dummy. Cost of business goes up, so does my prices.
Right. Yeah.
I still have to make a living too, you jackwagon. Like, come on. People are just stupid. They are. I'm sorry. I said it.
It's true.
It is. They just think like, whoa, why is it got to hurt me? Because it called it what goes around comes around.
Right.
You're going to raise my costs. Costs are going to go up, but
Right.
I got to feed my family too.
Yep.
Shoot, and if you don't like it, go start your own business and do the same. Simply put.
But not against Dave.
No. Dave will always be my electrician. Don't even try to take me away
Right.
from him. But anyways.
Well, if someone wants to get a hold of you and they got some jobs for you, how do they get a hold
Yeah, I
of you?
mean, we can be reached. I give you my cell phone number is pretty much the way I do business. Everything is through that phone.
I like it. Personal.
Which is, personal cell phone, which is
Yep.
734-751-5254. And then, we can also be reached through our website, which is energizingmi.com.
Okay.
Energizingmi.com.
Boom.
Love it. And I know you guys are on Facebook. You can just look up the Energizing Electrical Services.
Yep.
On Facebook, you can look them up there. I know you guys do a lot of. Your wife runs that.
Yeah, she runs
it well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Got a good picture. If you want to see what Dave, well, obviously you can see the video.
He's right there.
But here's in his all black suit up doing a gen rack, doing an install right there. So if you know what a gen rack looks like, there's some good photos right here.
They're very sleek.
Yeah. You
the
guys can also
orange.
go in downtown Plymouth. They put up a scarecrow to scare you. So you guys set up a little. No, I got to do that. We should do that.
Do what?
We should partner together.
And do what?
You got it downtown Plymouth.
I'll tell you, I dreaded that. my wife, bless her heart, she wanted to do this as a family activity, right? Well, the family was me and her and only one
of the kids.
Yep.
Right? The other two, they vanished.
I'm busy.
I think it's a great looking scarecrow. You know, got the hat on, American flags, love it. The pumpkins, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was our first year doing it, so a little bit of trial and error.
Right.
But it was fun. It was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah. Hey, just downtown Plymouth.
Yep. Kellogg Park.
See, you got to make your own little scarecrow. All the businesses do it. It goes all the way around Kellogg Park. You walk through it, and everyone kind of makes their own. It's cool.
Nice.
Christmas trees will be next.
Yeah. Big Christmas trees.
All right.
Nice.
Yep.
So.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you coming on to the show.
Appreciate you having me.
Obviously, I think we learned some good stuff, and hopefully y'all listening did too as well. And you know who to call if you got any electrical questions, some issues you have, and you've been put off.
Bigger is not always better.
Bigger is not always better.
Yep.
And smoke alarms are very important.
Yep.
If you only have one, hopefully this woke you up.
Yep.
Go buy some more. Or call Dave, and he'll tell you, he'll hook them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get you set up the right way and be safe. And then while he's there, have him check out your electrical systems, make sure it's good and safe and up to code, and keep everyone safe electrically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is who I use. I always stand by that. Who I refer is who I use myself. And David is the man for electrical. So thanks again, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that's I say that was another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Informative.
It was. They're always good when they are.
Yep.
So, well, I'm Paul Seguin with eXp Realty.
And I'm Devin Carr with Gold Star Mortgage.
And this is the Carr and Seguin Show. See ya.
See you.
The primary purpose of this podcast series is to inform, entertain, and educate. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast series do not constitute legal or professional advice, opinions, or endorsements of any kind. Gold Star Mortgage Financial Group, NMLS 3446, Equal Housing Lender.